disappointed. He will, but he also knows that it's not the end if he was to come up short here.
يعني اتحمست انها تبدا تفقد الوزن معانا. 15 سنه ما يعني لو قلت له اعمل رياضه وواظب عليها وده شيء جميل طبعا الرياضه مش هيهتم. لو قلنا لها قللي الكميات وكلي كذا واتبعي حميه غذائيه معينه برضو مش هتعمل ده. وعلى فكره اتباع حميه غذائيه معينه بتمنعنا من نوع من انواع معينه من الاكل الممنوع مرغوب، ولذلك من البدايه لا اتبع حميه غذائيه مع اي حاله من الحالات.
بنصح اي حد ان هو يجيب الكورس لان هو غير حياتي وحياه ناس كتير. حابه اشكر الدكتوره دعاء لانها غيرت حياتي وغيرت حياه ناس كتير جدا. شكرا دكتور دعاء.
ملك كانت شهيه عاليه، طبعا محبه للفاست فود زي كل ذويها من سنها، فكان لازم نقفل لها الشهيه. اما اديناها كورس البيستا ده مرخص وزاره صحه او البيسلم مرخص وزاره صحه، كان ساعدنا الحمد لله ان احنا نقفل لها الشهيه. ليه دايما بتحيز لعشب البسيليوم وده داخل من اكتر في مكمل غذائي مرخص وزاره صحه؟ علشان العشب ده اعلى انواع الفايبر، ده بيملى المعده ويعني بياخد تلتين المعده. كمان المعده قادره على الاحتفاظ بيه من 12 ل 14 ساعه. بعض النصائح لو اتبعناها في حياتنا، انت مش محتاج دعاء سويد، انت محتاج بس ان انت تعمل لايف ستايل لحياتك تفضل عايش بيه الى ان يطول بيك وبين العمر. الحمد لله ملك من الحالات الناجحه، وانا اضمها لمبادره قسمنا ناقوس خطر. فعلا بدات في الوقت الصح، بالتالي هتكمل حياتها صح. الحالات كلها الحمد لله يا رب قادرين ان احنا نفقدها كل الوزن ده، لان الحمد لله في متابعه جيده وفي العديد من الكورسز المناسبه لكل حاله صحيه وفئه عمريه.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. برحب بحضراتكم فقرة جديدة من فقرات برنامج أستاذ في الطب، واللي اتعودنا فيها على مدار الأسابيع اللي فاتت إن احنا بنناقش المواضيع الأكثر شيوعا والأكثر انتشارا فيما يخص صحة الرجل الجنسية والإنجابية. ويمكن الموضوع بتاع النهاردة الحقيقة يهم كل الناس ويهم كل الفئات العمرية بين الرجال، من أول الشباب بداية من سن المراهقة، ويمكن هنتكلم كمان إنها ممكن كمان تتداخل من ساعة لما يكون الطفل جنين في بطن أمه، وطبعا لغاية الستينات والسبعينات. أنا النهاردة حابب أتكلم مع حضراتكم على موضوع يخص هرمون الذكورة. وهرمون الذكورة ده أنا بعتبره دايما المايسترو في حياة أي رجل، وبينظم حاجات كتيرة، ويمكن هنعرف بعد شوية إنه مش بس عملية جنسية، مش بس انتصاب، مش بس رغبة، لكن ليه علاقة بحاجات
No, lo que le pido es que mejore el rendimiento fuera de casa, porque en casa siempre está bien y fuera de casa le está costando más. Es su primer año, estoy encantado con su rendimiento, creo que está mostrando una madurez muy grande y sobre todo lo que destaco de él es pues su carácter un poco, ¿no? De que las cosas le pueden salir o no, pero siempre quiere el balón, siempre es omnipresente en eso, nos da muchísimo y además si hace goles, pues ya, ¿qué más le puedo pedir, no? No, miramos al frente. Ahora Sevilla el miércoles en Copa contra el Betis y bueno, tenemos 27 puntos, estamos encantados, queremos más, pero ahora a recuperarnos e intentar, pues bueno, hacer yo creo que una proeza, ¿no? Que sería una proeza ganar en el Villamarín al Betis.
Did you hear Jagoba Arrasate saying that there's a difference when playing at home than when playing away? That's why I asked Graham before. Let's take a look at how standings would look like in La Liga, only counting the games played at home. Because there's only one team that has better numbers than Osasuna this season, and that team is Barcelona. 20 points. Osasuna have 27 points right now in the standings, so they've won twice as points when playing at home than when playing away. They have more points than Real Madrid, Athletic Club, Real Betis and Real Sociedad. And the big protagonist is that man there, next to me, Jagoba Arrasate. Because this is his best season at the start of this season. At the moment, 17 games played, and he's doing great. Let's take a look at the historical seasons for Osasuna. There's only one season that was better than this one. It was in 2005-2006. Who was the manager back then? El Vasco Aguirre, the man that was visiting El Sadar the other day. Then we see this season, 27 points, the same exact points of those two seasons when El Vasco Aguirre was Osasuna's manager, and then 2 more seasons when Jagoba Arrasate was Osasuna's manager. So it was all about the dugout at the Sadar. It was all about Arrasate against Aguirre, probably 2 of the best managers ever for this club. So let's hear what Aguirre had to say in his return to Pamplona.
Pues es mi segunda casa. La verdad es que aquí me abrieron la puerta tanto como jugador como entrenador en 86, 87 y en 2002, 2003, y aquí no tengo más que palabras de agradecimiento a toda esta gente, a toda esta afición, a la prensa, exdirectivos, gente que jugó conmigo está en el otro banquillo, los quiero mucho.
Must have been a bit of a bittersweet return for him, obviously. On the one hand, he loves being back at a place where he feels like it's home, but on the other hand, he has a job to do, and unfortunately, they weren't able to get it done on the day. Having said that, I think it's 3 games now. Murici in particular hasn't been able to find the back of the net. Do you find that Mallorca struggle whenever he's in trouble and he's not the one providing the goods?
They will do. Yeah. That's a given. I think we saw the impact he had at the club last season when he joined midway through the season and transformed the team. So he is going to be one of these players. He's going to be the Joselu of Espanyol. There'll be other players I can think off the top of my head that will be predominantly getting the majority of goals for their particular team, and Murici is going to be that go-to guy for Mallorca. They were competitive in the first. They were competitive all the way through, as always, but they didn't really threaten. And if you can try and stop Murici or stop the supply to Murici, then you've got a chance of. Mallorca are not going to score lots of goals, full stop. So most of their goals are most of their wins that they will get this season will be hard-fought victories, maybe by the odd goal. So, but in general terms, I mean, 22 points. They're
doing quite well.
Happy. Yes, exactly. Well above a point a game. So no major concern at the moment. They know what they are, I think, is how they understand football under Aguirre. They abide by what he wants, and it's serving them well, and it will serve them well for the rest of the season.
Well, talking about another team who knows very much what they're all about themselves as well is Rayo Vallecano, who once again collects yet another 3 points. However, this time it was, surprise, surprise, Easy Palazón who led them to glory.
Still Álvaro García. Back to Easy Palazón!
Ya lo dije en varias ocasiones que este año quería dar un pasito más.
5th goal of the season.
Aportar más en números.
Camello to Easy Palazón, and that's a fantastic goal from Rayo Vallecano.
Espero que siga así toda la temporada.
And he makes it look easy. It's a lovely penalty.
Si meto más o menos gol al final.
Penalty.
Si meto más o menos gol al final, eso va a hacer crecer al equipo y todo lo que sea eso, bienvenido sea.
What a goal for Rayo Vallecano!
Easy Palazón is so important for Rayo Vallecano. Is so important for Rayo Vallecano. You'll understand that taking a look at his numbers in the goal contribution. contribution of the team this season. Who is participating in the most goals this season? There you have EC Palazón with 5 goals and 3 assists. Then you have Sergio Camello with 7, Álvaro García with 5, Óscar Trejo 4, Unai López 3. But it wasn't an easy game for EC Palazón. In fact, he had the chance during the first half to start scoring for his team thanks to a penalty that he missed, because Jordi Masip, he guessed where EC Palazón was going to throw that penalty. We saw the images of EC Palazón throwing a penalty at Vallecas to the other side. Jordi Masip correctly went down to his right. And then on the second half, he was the protagonist because he kept trying, and that's a fantastic goal from EC Palazón. After that, brilliant play by Álvaro. That meant the only goal of the game for Rayo Vallecano, which in the end was the 3 points for the team in Madrid. Now let's take a look at the touches map from EC Palazón in Valladolid, because as you know, he's the right winger of the team, and you can see
done because he's quite a unique player, but the sentiment is quite understandable.
Well, Sonata, just to match your fooling around with us, said nice and easy does it.
Oh, there you go.
He's a buzz bomb. He's very, very aggressive, both in terms of challenges, but also we hear managers talking all the time about players who want to play forward all the time, players who come into spaces, never ever scared about form, about barracking from the crowd, about bigger opponents, ever. These might sound to viewers who only watch basics. It's not true of every footballer. He's extremely talented. There was a point late on in this match when I think the tenor played a long ball forward. It bounced back, and Isi turned and gave him an absolute rocket and said, slow things down, manage the game, we're winning, it's a narrow margin. So he's an absolute leader, and the mystery remains. If he can score from this little cutback from Marlborough so easily from a much more difficult situation,
Maguire coming in though, and we've all seen them playing in the snooker world, but now getting to see them on the pool table as well.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll be interesting to see how they get on. Obviously, I know some of them already and played some of them at English school over the years, but never played Stephen. I've been out with Stephen in China. He's played Chinese 8-ball out there, but that was a long time ago. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
Wish you the best of luck.
Yeah, cheers.
Stephen, Ultimate Pool debut tonight. What's made you want to get involved in the small table game?
I'm good friends with Jamie Burnett and Scott Gillespie, so I've seen them playing, and I always say no to everything. Anything that comes my way, I say no. And this year I thought, I'll say a couple of things, and this was the first one that popped up, so I said yes, and here we go.
I mean, how much of this sort of game have you played before?
Honestly, I've not played a lot. I played a couple of hours on Saturday, I played an hour there, and it's all about getting used to the rules, and that small white ball that kind of scares me a little bit.
Is that the bit that you're worried about the most, is the sort of control with the cue ball?
Oh, definitely. The white ball, it's going to take me a while, but when I go back home, play tonight, go back home, practice with it, maybe get a little bit better.
What advice have you had from Jamie and from Scott for tonight?
They told me not to swear. They told me not to hit the table. and they say don't get too mad when you do get beat.
What do you think about the 30 seconds and more specifically the 15 seconds when we get there?
The 15 seconds is just going to be so hard for me. Even the 30 seconds, because I don't see the patterns that all the pool boys see. So the extension will be getting used as much as possible.
Any practice or any thoughts towards a 6-thread shootout?
No, none. I'm just hoping it doesn't come up.
No practice with it?
Not yet, no.
Looking forward to watching you play. Best of luck.
Thank you. Thanks.
Well, Arfan Dad on the break then. Taking on fire, Stephen Maguire. Plenty watching tonight, wanting to see how Stephen's going to get on. But first he's got to get to the table. And for those who want to see it, they're going to get it right now. Arfan breaks dry. Looks like he's been taking a few tips from his buddy Chris Melling with the break, hitting it with a little bit of topspin to try and park that cue ball. But no friends. Stephen Potts is opening red and gets in and amongst it. And that was a pull shot. He has developed his difficult red. And straight away has an opportunity. Now, let's sort of try and break this one down, if we can, Simon. Let's sort of go into the finer details. Snooker and pool, biggest differences. At someone like Stephen's level, it's not going to be the size of the table. That's not going to bother him, let's be honest. But there are elements he will have to alter and change to have success at this game.
Yeah, there's a few things technically that you just need to get your head around. You talked about it a little bit in the interview there. That one of the big differences for snooker players coming to pool that haven't played a huge amount of pool, and even the ones that have, is the fact the cue ball is actually smaller than the object ball, which actually has a big effect on the way the cue ball is going to react. And he said in his interview it's going to be controlling that cue ball is the bit that he's going to struggle with the most out there. The other
right
thing,
on cue.
Yeah, right on cue. The other thing that you need to sort of get your head around when you're coming from snooker and you've not played a huge amount of pool is that potting and controlling the cue ball, obviously, it's a huge part of the game, but it's not really the game. The game is the puzzle. If you think about pool as a puzzle, can you work out the puzzle? Because if you can, then it doesn't really matter whether you can pot well or not, because you're often not having to pot well. You just simple pots all the time with simple cue ball because you've worked out the puzzle really, really well. So that's the bit that I think Stephen may not be able to grasp as quickly because he hasn't played a huge amount of it. Obviously, you don't expect him to miss many pots. It's just, can he control the cue ball and sort of string finishes together?
Well, early indicator is he will find that difficult. Arfan doesn't miss that pot. He's played that deliberately. Not a huge amount of merit in Arfan taking on yellows here, because he's got a difficult one near the left centre. He's also got total control of the frame. Stephen's just going to open everything up and say, all right then, off you go, because Arfan needs to pot here.
Yeah, that's come out pretty well for Stephen Maguire. Okay, still a really good chance here for Arfan, but that's probably as good as he could have hoped for. And that's
not ideal.
Yeah, it's not ideal. It's not too bad either for me. You can play an easy enough safety now. You could continue if you wanted to. You can clip this back, but an easy enough safety. The reason I say it's not too bad is because the ball that he's just played was going to be a slight problem ball, actually, because it was fairly blocked off by the red. So he's gone straight into it and tried to open it up, hasn't landed, and then you play the safety.
Stephen's having some fun out there. I thought it was pool, he says. That's my game, as Arfan lays the snooker. And this is very, very difficult. Difficult hit, never mind to get anything towards a pocket. Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah, cue ball in hand here for Arfan. This should be end of frame. Nothing in the way to stop him.
Yeah, and one thing that Arfan will look to improve on his last visit to this Ultimate Pool table, which you saw in the Pro Cup at the back end of December. Lost the game to Jordan Shepherd, which he had absolutely no right to lose. And the start of the comeback began when Arfan was overly defensive. Played after snooker without really trying to improve his own position. Jordan Shepherd eventually found a way out and really started to ascend the mountain from there. Arfan will be keen to not let that happen again. It begins with maybe taking on a bit more of an attacking mindset, backing himself, confidence, and that's a confident finish.
Yeah, well played frame from Arfan, you have to say. The finish wasn't there after Stephen made the first mistake. Plays the safety, earns the opportunity, plays one more because it didn't open up as he wanted to, and then clean run to the line. It's a perfectly played frame of Paul, and highlights the fact that you don't always have to make a break clearance for it to be a perfectly played frame of Paul.
Well, Paul 1, snooker 0, and let's see how it goes this weekend. It begins Thursday, the Ultimate Pool Pro Series events 1 and 2, snooker versus pool. And there are going to be some matchups which will be very, very worth the watch.
Yeah, no doubt about it. What an exciting lineup we have this coming weekend. It really is amazing to see. There's been obviously big difference, big change in the pool world over the last 2 or 3 years because of Ultimate Pool and everything that's going on, and highlighted by the fact that someone like Stephen Maguire and some of the other snooker players are keen to get involved. Good break from Stephen this time. Gets himself another opportunity. One red by the cue ball now. That's the problem. Don't think it passes the yellow to the corner, but I'm fairly certain of it. Might be just enough showing to play left centre, but not easy to get there. Here's a tricky ball.
Yeah, I also don't think there's the room in the middle pocket on the right-hand side to squeeze past that yellow either. So into it he goes.
Beautiful. That'll do. He got the cue ball wrong a couple of times in the previous visit. That was perfection. If he catches the yellow, it causes him a problem. Catches the red full in the face, then it could go a little bit messy. He caught it just on the top side, knocks it on, and where he was a very precise cannon. That's not ideal, though. That is going to cause him some headaches getting onto the 8-ball here. Really have to cue this one well, avoid some yellows. Very good. Oh, it's going to go in off. Well. Just when he hit that when he hit the first cushion, I thought that's going to come straight across the table and be fine, and just started tracking towards the centre pocket. Just got into it a trace. But it's not that's not the bad shot for me, it's the previous one. You can't leave yourself that angle. You have to have an angle to be able to get on the 8-ball.
Yeah, agreed. Nice opening shot from Arfan. I assume the yellow rather, just below the middle pocket will glide in if you get right behind it, or is it just trapped on that knuckle? Does he have to do anything here?
He's going to play safe. I was thinking if you don't like it in the mid-right centre, then you play safe, but for me, if it does drop in the right centre, then you take the one to the bottom right-hand corner there and use the one to the right centre to connect to the one he's just played, and that connects to the one above the 8-ball, and then you're out. But so maybe that one on the centre pocket is slightly tricky.
Gamble that safety, it's just going to be one cushion. And Stephen Maguire goes close.
It will be interesting to see what he does here. So I'm assuming that yellow doesn't go comfortably in the centre, because I think if it did, he would have gone last time, because there was nothing in the way for the clearance at all. There was no advantage for playing that safe.
Is he trying to just play into it there, or is he going to take it now?
I don't think he did. I think he now believes it does go.
This is delicate. You can only really tell from being right behind it. He doesn't love it.
No, he really doesn't.
was no intention to really not dangle this opportunity, because if our fan wanted to there, he maybe could have laid one of these yellows maybe over the bottom left corner pocket and tie up that pocket for a well, 2 or 3 of Stephen's reds. I think he fully intended to try and make Stephen go here. That's a big gamble.
Yeah, it almost looked like he was gambling there, didn't it? Because he definitely could have got the snooker, or certainly left nothing at the bottom, and definitely not opened up that red at the bottom, which didn't go.
Oh, Stephen had a rub here.
Yes and no. I don't think those reds plant. If the reds plant, he's absolutely fine. But
I don't think it's set, but I think he could maybe manufacture it, or we try to play off everything.
well, there you go. If our fan did dangle the carrot and say, "Come on then, Stephen, anything to improve my chances of clearing up next time." Sometimes you do have to just play safe because you've got nothing on. But normally you're thinking, if I play safe here, am I doing anything to make it easier next visit? And this is still a very tricky layout, an incredibly tricky layout now that he's right on top of this yellow. Big shot this in the context of the match. And he's not going to take it on.
Well, if you're going to leave a long red to anyone, Stephen Maguire would tell you, this is a long red.
Yeah, there is that. I think the problem that Stephen had there is if he took the pot that was on, which is the one in the triangle area now, the cue ball was very close to it off.
That's a great shot. That's a really clever shot, you know. Just tied up Arfan's ball on the top right.
Yeah, it does cause him a problem as the red still doesn't go. It's slowing our fan down. There you go, buzzer takes us into the final 5 minutes.
15-second shot clock in play.
Arfan again goes dangling.
Oh, this is brilliant. Great effort. He's not on anything, but it was a great effort. He gets that just a smidge on the underside. He knocks it a little bit fuller, if you like. He just knocks it past the yellow and he's on it.
Oh, no thought at all. Playing safe from Stephen Maguire, and he. Oh, Arfan finds himself 3-0 up. It's been the patient method from Arfan, which is taking him to the hill. 3:45 to go. Stephen Maguire needs to find 3 quick frames, and he's going to go in off the break. How often do you see that? How playing it, but that tends to happen.
Yeah, it really does.
Welcome to it.
It really does. That is the standard situation. You have to say though, this match feels in some ways similar to the first one. Slightly different the way it played out, but Stephen Maguire had the first chance in the opening 2 frames. Both of them, doable clearances. Certainly the second one where he went in off getting onto the 8 ball. Didn't take either of them, and the match has been our fans from there.
Opening shot from our fans to open up the 8 ball. And we should see
Either